Good evening, and welcome to Talking Songs with me, Roland Jones. How are we all doing out there today? It's pretty grim up here in the north, as they say, but genuinely this time, it's not just a manner of speaking. It really is grim, wet, and cold. So we'll show you some music to warm your soul, and I'm going to start off with a little song here, which is called "In the Words of a Song." Wonder if you miss me, I miss me too. But the best part of me was taken with you. Wonder if you'll miss me, even notice I've gone. But I gave you the best of me in the words of a song. Dedicated a song to you, a song that wasn't sad. Gave you 200% of me, offered you all that I had. Might not have seemed very, very much, but it's all I had to give. Would have given you much more if I could, but you know that's all that there is. Wonder if you miss me, I miss me too. But the best part of me was taken with you. Wonder if you miss me, even notice I've gone. But I gave you the best of me in the words of a song. Started out writing songs of love, words poured out from the heart. You do not think about grammar, this is life, not some art. But suddenly the words have changed, they're coming from a different point of view. You pretend they're written by someone else, but you know that someone else is still you. Wonder if you miss me, even notice I've gone. 'Cause I gave you the best of me in the words of a song. Wonder if you miss me, I miss me too. But the best part of me was taken with you. Always tried to do my best. I've been good more than I've been bad. The times we loved and laughed together were the best times that I've ever had. Always had good food to eat, and I've never been rich nor poor. In my life, the worst I felt was when I heard you close that door. Wonder if you miss me, I miss me too. But the best part of me was taken with you. Wonder if you miss me, you notice I've gone. But I gave you the best of me in the words of a song. And so, now I'd like you to welcome to the studio. I'm sure you're all cheering wildly out there, and introduce my guest for tonight, Sally. How are you, Sally?
I was going to say I'm lovely, but I'm. What a weird thing to say. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes.
Good. So, Sally Barker, then, Now, it's funny, you see, when somebody mentioned your name to me, first of all, in connection with this, my first thought was, because my first thought was to head towards that sort of Fairport Convention, Sandy Denny, that sort of era. And it was a big surprise to me. I didn't know anything about The Voice. I didn't know about your success on that. But quite clearly, from looking through your biography, you've been doing it a long time. So how did it all start for you? How did the music thing start for you?
Oh gosh, the beginning. The beginning is a long way away. Um, I was gigging and doing my own thing for many years. Started out playing in pubs with a pal, and that just carried on. Then he went off to do something else, and I was a solo artist. And then I got asked if I wanted to do a support to a chap called Richard Digance. It was a 40-day tour, and that was back in the late 80s. And
Right.
people said, "Oh, you'll have to have an album." In those days, it was vinyl and cassettes. So I recorded a live gig, and I pressed that up as an album, and sold it at the gigs. As I said, it was a 40-day tour, so I did rather well. And then a copy of that was discovered by a record company in Hamburg, who were just starting out, and they decided that they
Right.
wanted to put it out, and they got in touch with me. This lovely sounding gentleman with a sing-songy German voice kept ringing me up, and I thought it was a joke at first. I thought it was somebody just messing about. But it appeared over time that he was trying to ask me if I would license the album over in Germany. So that's what I did, and then it was very, very well reviewed, or rather, I should rephrase that. It was reviewed very well by a very well-respected chap in a very well-respected German magazine called Stereo. And then it just took off, and so my solo career really started abroad. And
Excellent.
so I wasn't particularly well known in this country, apart from, as I say, in England, apart from being a member of the Poosies, which happened almost concurrently to me being a solo artist. So that's how it started. And then
Did you come from a musical family?
my great grandpa used to play the piano, but everybody did in those days, didn't they? There wasn't particularly a great strand of musical heritage behind me. But it was just really what I could do, the only thing I could do, the only thing I really wanted to do. I was regarded as the black sheep of the family for quite some time. So yeah, I didn't really want to do anything else. I did a few other things, and then once I started playing music, that was it, really, pretty much for me.
And were you, when you first started working as a solo artist, were you already writing then, or were you?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah, I started writing from a very early age, from getting my first guitar at 10, and then sort of taking about 3 years to learn to properly play it. And then I started writing songs from about the age of 12, 13. And yeah, but also did cover versions, various things, Labby Sifri, bit of Beatles, Gordon Lightfoot, Janice Ian, those sort of things. That was what floated my boat at the time, definitely.
I know you mentioned in your bio on the site, Pentangle and John Martin.
Yes, yeah. So John Martin was also a very primary influence when I'd learnt to play the guitar, and I was listening to other guitarists, and he was somebody that I used to go and watch play.
Yeah, me
John
too.
Martin, definitely. I don't think I ever saw him with Danny Thompson, but I did see him with Alan Thompson. No relation, and often used to go and see John by himself, and he he'd sit down, he'd start his echoplex going, and he'd rock back and forth, playing a riff for ages until he started to join in. It was very inspirational, I think, from a point of view of the guitar playing.
Yeah.
And also how you can use effects. And I used to do that. I used to put effects on my voice. I used to have like a delay on my voice. I used to have an octave pedal as well on my voice at one point. And definitely doing things with the guitar, putting the guitar through different pedals. I've sort of grown out of that now, though.
I think we all go through phases though, don't we? I mean, but like trying stuff out which is electronic, then coming back to something and then starting again, sort of taking leaps and bounds in and out of these things. I think you go through phases of that. But Alan Thompson, that name doesn't ring any bells with me. Danny Thompson, I certainly saw him with Danny.
Okay, so Danny was an original member of Pentangle. And Alan Thompson came along a bit later when John and Danny had sort of fallen out, and Danny was a bit more on the straight and narrow, but John was still imbibing. I'm not quite sure. Alan must have told me how they got together originally, but Alan Thompson is a very young looking, amazing fretless bass player, but he's also a multi-instrumentalist.
Right.
And I saw him playing with John Martin at Loughborough University. So I must have been about 18 at that point, and he looked like a 12-year-old boy. But he was in his 20s, I think, by that time. And over time, I met up with him. He was playing with various other musicians when he was playing in various bands in Germany when I was playing with my band in Germany, and we often would cross over doing festivals together, that sort of thing. And I got to chat to him and say to him, I used to see you play with John Martin, and he would say, "Oh, funny story about John." He would go on. He'd tell me these amazing stories about John Martin that I cannot repeat, even just on the internet. I can't.
No. Yes,
it was quite a trip, and then later on, Alan came and played with me. My bass player had gallstones, I think, and I was ringing round people. I thought, I'll just try Alan, and I phoned him, and he said, I'm free at that time. So we went on tour together. I remember him saying, as he sat in the car, he said, "I don't talk much." And after 3 weeks, he was just talking and talking and talking, as I say, telling us all his little stories. And then subsequently, Alan became a member of Pentangle with Jackie McShay and Jerry Conway. Jackie and Jerry are partners. And, so the later versions of Pentangle were with Alan playing double bass, or sorry, not double bass, but fretless bass or guitar.
All right. I have to say, my experience of Pentangle was the early version with Renborn and Jansch and Terry Cox. But yes, a great band. And John Martin was seen to be permanently on at the university when I first came to Manchester.
He was definitely on the university circuit.
Absolutely. Well, it was huge in the early 70s. That sort of, it was a huge market for selling albums to students. Basically, you've got things like the legendary Who Live at Leeds albums and things like that, and they were big in. But John Martin was there regularly. So, what are we going to hear from you first, then, Sally?
Okay. I'm going to play a song called Two Hearts.
Right.
And this is a song that people often ask me to sing at weddings, actually.
All right.
In fact, I was asked by some gentleman to sing it at his daughter's wedding, although his daughter didn't know it was going to happen. So I had to secrete myself at the back of the, it was one of these wedding venues, so it wasn't a church, but I had to sort of be secreted, I don't know, at the back, and so they didn't. So I saw them pass down the aisle, and then they got married, and then I jumped up as they were coming down the aisle after being married and started playing, and I really did think, what if this doesn't go well? But it's obviously surprised them, and the young lady knew my music, so that was okay.
That's good.
And apparently she liked the song, so that was the whole idea of that. but people in the audience started bursting into tears spontaneously, and it was one of those things, all those times, it was just so moving, and I was on the verge of tears as well, so I was finding it very, very difficult to sing the song whilst all this surprise was going on around me.
I bet.
Anyway, and I'll try not to burst into tears while I'm singing it now.
Okay.
It's called Two Hearts. Oh, will you grow old with me, or will you stay forever young? Here in my memory, when new love has begun again. Oh, will you come live with me, or will I not see you again? Sweetheart, if it's meant to be, two hearts will beat as one. Darling, you make my heart say all kinds of unguarded things. Before I can stop myself, here comes the heart that sings. Wrap myself up in metaphors as if to muffle the sound. These words sneak through the folds and shout out loud. Oh, will you grow old with me, or will you stay forever young? Here in my memory, when new love has begun again. Oh, will you come live with me, or will I not see you again? Sweetheart, if it's meant to be, two hearts will beat as one. Da 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 da. La da da la, la da da da. Oh, darling, you make my heart say all kinds of unguarded things before I can stop myself. Here comes the heart that sings. Oh, will you grow old with me, or will you stay forever young? Here in my memory, when new love has begun again. Oh, will you come live with me, or will I not see you again? Sweetheart, if it's meant to be, if it's meant to be, if it's meant to be, two hearts will beat as one. Two hearts.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Love it. I could just see the entire congregation weeping and wailing at that beautiful song.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you consider yourself a disciplined writer, or do you just sort of do it when you feel like it? Or do you plan things, or?
I don't know. Before I had kids, songs seemed to just trickle out of me
Right.
at will. I don't know what it is about having children, whether it's they destroy quite a lot of your brain cells, or the sleep deprivation is just too much. I don't know. But it is a more disciplined thing now. I do have to settle myself down and say I'm going to write some songs now, or I'm going to write a song, and it doesn't always happen. It's sometimes I mean, at the stage I'm at now, I've probably got a dozen half finished songs. And I'm constantly thinking, oh, I must finish that one. I must finish that one. And then and then something else attracts my attention. So
Yeah.
I'm more easily led now, I think, as well. I was definitely more focused and, what's the word? I don't know, more self motivated. I was going to say selfish, but you have to be selfish sometimes.
The thing you were saying about having not finished them off, we were talking briefly off air before, saying about how people had dealt with the pandemic, and one of the common threads has been that a lot of people have said exactly the same thing, that they've now got a collection of dozens and dozens of snippets that they've spoken into their iPhones, which are just waiting to be finished but never got round to it. I was recounting the fact that I cleaned my phone out a few months ago and I found 125 video clips.
Awesome.
Just of, well, some of them are awful, frankly, let alone awesome. But you just store them, and I think the danger is that then you don't actually go with. Whereas in olden times, shall we say, if you didn't have a phone to hand, you would have thought, right, I better nail this whilst I can. Where I think these days we're a little lazy about that. The other thing about writing is, do you always write on your own? Do you co-write?
I've done quite a lot of co-writing, actually, and I really enjoy it. I think it brings out something different, and it's really nice to bring something out of somebody else as well. I've done quite a bit of writing with Debbie Cassell over the years, who you've had as an artist. Right. And also her partner Martin Ansell, I've written with him.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's been I've had a complete tune and I've needed I know what I want the song to be about, but it's just not coming. And I once farmed a whole complete song minus lyrics out to Martin, and said to him, I want it to be about elephants. And he wrote back these amazing words, these amazing lyrics, and it's one of my often requested songs, to be honest. And it's actually one that Labby Sifri sang on.
All right. You mentioned Martin. Obviously, Debbie and Martin have both been on the show with me, and Debbie told me about Martin, and then I checked him out on the internet and found all these pictures of him, films of him, recorded in his taxi.
Yes, yeah, he recorded a whole album in his taxi, I think.
Yeah, he was quite keen that we did the broadcast from the taxi, and I thought, well, no, it might be a little bit too risky for this sort of venture. But yeah, he's got a lovely approach to something. Both of them were great fun to be with.
Fantastic people, I love them.
I mean, you mentioned there you farmed the whole thing out. Do you find that's how it works? You've worked with a lot of people, but does it tend to be words and lyrics, or does it tend to be a mix of it?
It has varies. I do actually like being in the same room as somebody else, because it's as I say, that does tend to create something quite different to what I would do and quite different to what the other person would do. And I've got a couple of songs. I've got this song that I want. It's ideal for Bonnie Raitt, and it's very nearly finished. And I'm writing that with a friend of mine called Ian Crabtree, and I've just not seen him for the whole of the pandemic. And I keep saying to him, we've got to get together. We must be in the same room to finish this song. It's just not happened yet. So so it's. Different horses for different courses. I think. Yeah. Variety is the spice of life, I think.
Go along with that. Do you find that if you are going to like as you said before, sit down, I'm going to write a song. Do you turn up with some words in mind, or do you just pick the guitar up and think, what am I going to do today? Is it words or music, or is it a bit of both?
Well, I do various different things, but generally I pick up a guitar and I'm strumming away. I've got this show. I'm going to neatly segue this in. I've got this show that I put together of me doing Joni Mitchell songs, Sandy Denny songs, and songs of mine, which I call Joni, Sandy, and Me. And I don't write, or I don't have any songs particularly in open tuning, but of course both of them did, particularly
Yes.
Joni.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing around I'll be playing with practicing one of the Joni songs, and it's this interesting tuning, and then I'll start messing about with it and start coming out with this. I'm not actually finished one yet, but I'll start coming out. I've recorded, as you say, a few ideas on my phone in open tuning with some words, but yeah. So
the thing about Joni is I only discovered a relatively short while ago that the reason she used open tunings was because she'd had polio as a child.
Yes,
and she found it a lot easier to play because because your chords are fully formed in many ways, and you're looking at more interesting sort of shapes, different sort of voicings. But tonight I was unaware of that. So I think this is a cue for a song that you mentioned earlier on, which was in open tuning.
Oh, shall I do one of those?
Go on.
So I know that this is a program where you usually do your own songs.
Yes.
But I quite fancied playing a Sandy Denny song. Joni Mitchell is very well known, I think, throughout the whole of the world. Sandy Denny, not so much, I think.
No.
She's revered in folk circles, folk rock circles. She was part of the original folk rock band,
the
Fairport Convention.
Yeah.
And her own songs, for the people that like her music, people worship them. And I love this particular song of hers that I want to play. It's called The Sea. She wrote a lot of songs about the sea. Sadly, Sandy Denny died at the relatively early age of 31, but she left a body of work, and there's some great songs in there. So this is called The Sea. Do I ever wonder you don't know? You'll never follow, and I'll never show. Do you see the water and watch it flow and float an empty shell? And you think that I'm hiding from the island. You've a fault in your senses. Can you feel it now? Time, what is that? I've no time to care. I've lived for a long time, nearly everywhere. You will be taken, everyone, you ladies and you gentlemen. Fall and listen with your ears upon the paving stone. That what you hear coming off the sea? close under your doors in London town. All your defenses are broken down. You laugh at me on funny days, but mine's the sleight of hand. Don't you know I am a joker, deceiver, and I'm waiting for the land.
Excellent. Just got a comment here from Lisa Trotman. Roll on Sandy Fest, it says.
Oh yes, that's when some friends of mine and I, we call ourselves the Sandy Denny Project, and we do a whole evening of Sandy Denny music at a place called Byfield Village Hall, which is in a village which is the last village that Sandy lived in, and it's the last place she ever did a gig.
Oh, right.
So we commemorate her. Is that the right word?
Nice. I think that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Celebrate. We celebrate. Her music. Yeah.
Celebrate it. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, there was a comment from Lisa earlier on. Great to hear your angelic voice again. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Definite fan there. So we've talked a little about that side of you. What about the voice? Tell us about the voice.
So I got to a period in my life when I was a bit down on my luck. I'd had health issues, and eventually it was discovered I had a thyroid problem. But it did mean that I wasn't very energetic, and I was basically I was at home. I wasn't doing any gigs. I was too ill to go out and gig. And I was one Saturday night. I was cooking the dinner for my kids. My kids were, how old were they? Oh, teenagers. And my eldest son Dylan shouted from the room where they were watching the telly, "Mum, Mum, Mum, come and look at this. This is a program that singers go on, and unknown singers go on." And so I came through, and I was watching what was going on. He said to me, "Look, what you do is you sing in front of these four judges, but they can't see you. They've got their chairs turned the other way round. It would be brilliant if you went on this, Mum." And I thought, well, that's a bit of a backhanded compliment. Then he said, "You're a better singer than any of the singers we've seen." And they'd watched, I think, the first series, and they were watching the second series at the time. "We think you should apply." And I thought, I'm not going to go on a program like that. That's popular entertainment. I'm not interested in that. I'm a folk singer. I'm a singer songwriter. I'm too good for that. Anyway, ultimately, I thought, well, my kids want me to do it, so I applied, and then I went through various just through various stages where I would turn up and do something, and then they said, "We would like you to come and be part of the blind auditions, which are filmed, and the people who succeed will then go through." And there'll be 48 of whoever goes through, and then you'll be part of whichever coach turns round, and then if more than one coach turns round, you have to decide who to go with. And so I thought, well, it's an interesting concept. And Dylan said, well, at least if you don't get picked to go further, at least there's a bit of exposure there for you, and maybe people will remember who you are, Mummy. So So I thought, well, why not? Kids will enjoy the whole thing. So I went and did the blind. I was chosen to do the blind audition. I did the blind audition, and blow me down, some old bloke in a chair turned round, and it was Tom Jones. I shouldn't say that. I should say a very nice white-haired gentleman
Yes.
made his chair turn, and I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? Because I hadn't really found out what I was letting myself in for. I knew what the blind audition was, but I didn't know what happened after that. So there was then a series of questions, and I then had to be available for certain times of the year and to film the next stage, and I said I can't because I'm going to be on tour. Anyway, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
They shifted the dates that they wanted me to go, because I said I can't, I'm on time, I'm busy, and they said, and I said to them, can't you change the dates that I will come and film? And they said, oh, we can't ask the stars to do that. And then oh, blow me down, I did get my dates changed. So there was a force greater than me at work, and I think that force greater than me was Tom Jones, actually.
Excellent.
So he took a shine to me, I think, from the beginning. At the end of the blind audition stage, each of the coaches had 12 participants that would go further on in the show. Tom actually had 3 blokes and 9 women, and I heard a couple of the girls talking, saying that he didn't know their names, and I thought to myself, oh, well, he knows my name, and so again that was fairly significant. So I think he liked me from the get-go. I think he sort of thought that's my girl. I think he thought, but I don't know. Who knows what goes on. It's TV, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah. What was he like as a person?
He was lovely. Yeah. We'd sit and chat, and he was very personable. He was just lovely, and I loved his outfits. Oh, everything he wore was bespoke. I remember when I'd got through the blind audition, and then you have to come off the main stage, and he helped me down, and I actually said to him, "Can I hug you?" Because he just looked so huggable. And he was wearing this lovely bespoke glittery jacket, and I thought, I need to hug that jacket. So he said yes, so I did.
Lovely. Yes, he is a sharp dress, there's no doubt about that. Marvelous. Okay, I think we should have another song now. What's it going to be this time?
Aren't you going to play another song, Roland?
No, that's not part of the deal.
Oh, isn't it? Okay.
No, we're here. We're featuring you today. I do one at the beginning, and that's it.
Okay. I thought you were going to play more of your songs. Well, I've got this old guitar here, which came from a secondhand shop, and used to belong to one of my guitar students. I do a bit of beginners guitar teaching, and she was a friend of she was the mother of a friend of mine, and she moved to the area late on in life, and I think she found that she needed things to do, and she said to her friend, "Will Sally teach me to play the guitar?" And of course I said yes. So she got this guitar, and I taught her to play. Sadly, she died at the ripe old age of 90 plus. And she left me this guitar. So I now, in honor of Beryl, I call it Beryl. It's the guitar's called Beryl after her, and I take it out on gigs. It's a little bit out of tune, naturally, and I love it. So I'm going to attempt to play it, and I'll do a song. I'll do a song called Symmetry, which I wrote for the birds that live in my garden. And the first line I've stolen from Bob Marley.
Excellent.
Oh yes, it's definitely out of tune. 3 little birds on a sycamore tree. One little bird looks down pityingly, then he unfurls his wings, takes to the sky, looks to the heavens, and soars up high. Flying over me, such perfect poetry, and his symmetry, well, it speaks to me. Flying over me with perfect poetry, give me symmetry, let me be set free. Da, 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 da. La, da, 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 da. La, da, 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 da. La, da, 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 da. La, da, da, da. La, la, da, da, da. La, da, 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 da. La, la, da, 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 da. La, da, da, da. La, da, 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 da. Flying over me, such perfect poetry, and his symmetry, well, it speaks to me. Flying over me with perfect poetry, give me symmetry, let me be set free. Let me be set free. Symmetry.
Excellent. Lovely, lovely stuff.
Thank you.
Great. I like the story about the guitar as well. That's really sweet. And the fact that you still take it out on gigs, that's excellent too.
She's always with me. Yes, definitely.
Beryl's always there.
Beryl's always there, yeah.
One of the things that you said before, how Joni Mitchell is sort of world known, whereas Sandy Denny is much more localized in terms of like a British audience, as it were. Is there something sort of structural about that, in the sense that Joni Mitchell and the sort of the general country-ish folk singers from America are much more accepted over here than more traditional English singer and songwriters are accepted over there?
I actually don't think it's anything to do with the music. I don't think it is. I think it's to do with management, and I think it's to do with the personalities. I've looked into both of them. I've been a fan of both of them for a long time, and I've read their life stories, and we all know a lot about Joni Mitchell's, and the people who know of Sandy Denny know about the tragedy in her life, and which sadly ended in her falling and dying. So, when I compare their songwriting, their influences, their abilities, I don't see that there's a great deal of difference. So if you look at them look at their careers in a different way, look at what the forces that came behind them, so to speak. You look at Joni Mitchell, and you look at the people that she met. She met Crosby, Stills, Nash. So she she profited from those relationships. She gained something from them, but she always retained a sense of herself and what she wanted to do. Then she met Elliot Roberts. Then she met people that became her manager and her agent, and and then they introduced her to record companies. So the whole thing is very different when you look at Sandy Denny's life and the forces that came to bear upon her in her business life, and they're very different. And it's not a case of she met some great people, but she was in a band with kids. She was a kid. She was in a band with kids. They were managed and produced by Joe Boyd, and then he was the conduit to Island Records. There was a time which she'd left Fairport Convention and she'd started Fotheringay. I think she'd done the first Fotheringay album, and then Joe Boyd was very important in the business sense to her career. And then Joe Boyd left the UK and went to work for a big American record company. He was given an offer that he felt he couldn't refuse. But that meant that the people that he was managing in the UK didn't have anything to fall back on, except for their own abilities, which he'd basically done everything. So it was I think it was very difficult for Sandy at that point to then pick herself up. But there's more to the story. They're different. They're different personalities as well.
Yeah, I think also that the I mean, Fairports were much more of a sort of a niche market than, say, Crosby, Stills and Nash were, because the three of them were all established names. So, the sort of knowledge, their knowledge of the industry and their connections with the industry would have been much greater.
Yeah. I think that's the situation. They're in California. They're where everything's going on, and it's not just the musicians there. It's the business. The business is there. The business people are all there as well. They're all quite young, but they're all building this new West Coast scene together. And yes, there was a London scene, but there was so much else going on in London at that time as well. And folk rock was not. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. It could have been as big, but it perhaps needed somebody in the business sense to be behind it and to push it in the way that they had that on the West Coast, in the USA.
I mean, in a similar vein, if you look at the stuff that was going on with the sort of the heavy rock end of British music, like with what was his name, Grant and Led Zeppelin, and how they were pushed over there, and how the monsters of rock, as they used to be referred to, did become incredibly successful. Whereas,
you see that you've got a very powerful person doing all the business for Led Zeppelin, and he knew that you had to be big in the States.
Yeah.
So they toured relentlessly in the States. Fairport had a difficult time to begin with. They just as they were starting to do well, the band had a car accident coming back from a gig in Birmingham, and 2 people died, and that affected. They were young kids, and it really affected them, and it splintered the group, and it led to what has continued to be a fractured band. Well, until the last 30 years, but they've had a stable lineup for the last 25 20 years. But I think it's never just about the music.
Oh, never.
Business
I agree with you about that.
Is so important in creating somebody, in taking somebody from being grassroots to being a superstar. So it's and that's where you and I went wrong. We never got a big manager involved.
Yeah, well, Grant was a big manager in every sense, wasn't he?
Yes,
as I recollect. Actually, I saw him being interviewed on something a short while ago, something on Sky Arts. And I have to say, he's not the sort of man you'd want to cross, is he?
And they needed that.
Yeah.
And I think that's that. You look at most people in the rock world, and like in the heavy rock world, and in this country, and people who are managers in this country have always been strong characters. They've had to be. When you're elevating an artist from from grassroots to, you know, through the stages and trying to get a record deal. It's tough. It's a tough business.
Yeah, very much so. So, so you've got the me, Joni and Sandy project going. What else? What else have you got on the cards?
They come before me, Joni, Sandy, and I'm the last. Yeah. What else have I got on the cards? Well, I'm doing various different things. I've got some songs brewing. I've got. I suppose you don't need a whole album's worth of songs anymore, do you?
No, absolutely not.
If you're going to go the download route, I've still got loads and hundreds, thousands of CDs out in the shed in my garden. I don't know if I can possibly do another pressing. I just don't. Even people of our age are now doing downloads. But I still get the odd person saying, "Well, I really wanted to buy your CD. I really want your new music on a CD, but I can't actually afford to do it just for that one person. It's quite difficult."
Yeah.
So I've got some new recordings brewing, and as and when they'll come out, and I've got various bits and bobs on. I've done some filming to put some things together for my YouTube channel, which I'm quite interested in populating, and I'm learning how to put films together. I started doing that during lockdown, and that's something that I want to continue. And yes, collaborating with people, and yeah, this year getting out and about a bit more. I've got this tour that I'm doing with Joni, Sandy, and me, and obviously I'm there as well. I do a Joni song, I do a Sandy song, I do a song of mine, so I'm still singing my songs as well.
Oh, absolutely,
as well as their songs.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so various other things. As I say, the Joni Mitchell. Sorry, the Sandy Denny project will be doing some gigs, a few festivals. I'm also in a trio by the name of Iota with two splendid multi-instrumentalists, the lovely Marion Fleetwood and the wonderful Anna Ryder. They're both fantastic musicians, and I just sing and play the guitar and occasionally play a little bongo drum, but they play all the other instruments, the cello, the fiddle, viola, guitar, piano, French horn, more guitars, whistles, and both girls sing and write as well. So we write songs together. We've done one album together, and we're going to be doing some more gigs this year.
Great.
So I'm trying to think, who have I missed out? Who have I not talked about? I'm doing some gigs with an old pal of mine, Keith, Mr. Keith. I call him Keith Richard Buck. In actual fact, that is his second name. His second name is Richard. Keith Buck, people know him as, but I call him Keith Richard Buck. And he's a multi-instrumentalist, fabulous pedal steel player.
All right.
And singer and guitarist, and we have done quite a few gigs here and there, a few gigs in the pubs, and we just sit there with a couple of acoustic guitars and play away and sing away. So that's something else that I'll be doing.
Brilliant. Well, make sure you give me all the information afterwards, and I'll post those on the underneath the video. And would you like to do one more song for us?
Oh, okay. I was trying to think. I've got my Nashville strung guitar, and I'm trying to think what song could I do with it on the Nashville guitar. I don't think I have. Trying to think of the song. I'm just gonna have to do because there's only so many. It's a very strummy thing, and
it is, yeah.
I thought I might do my biggest hit up to me being on The Voice. This was my claim to fame. A song called Money's Talking. It was played on Radio 1 by Johnny Walker.
Gosh,
back in 1990. He played it twice actually. So it's called Money's Talking. Money's talking, breathing loud in my ear. It's telling me all kinds of things it knows I like to hear. Talk, talk, talk about money. It's talking dollars and it whispers in yen. What delicious words, and here they come again. Talk, talk, talk about money. I wanna grab it, I wanna keep it, I wanna spend it, I wanna have it all around me, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, everywhere I go. I wanna see it shine, don't wanna lose it, don't wanna share it. I'm not a charity, I won't give it away. It gives me dignity, these shoes on my feet, and a restaurant seat, I can't live without it. I sold my soul to the devil himself. He took one look and then he said he wanted everything else. What are we talking about? Talk, talk, talk about money. I wanna grab it, I wanna keep it, I wanna spend it, I wanna have it all around me, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, everywhere I go. I wanna see it shine, don't wanna lose it, don't wanna share it. I'm not a charity, I won't give it away. It gives me dignity, these shoes on my feet, and a restaurant seat. I can't live without it. Don't make me live, don't make me live without it. You wouldn't like me if I had to live without it. Don't make me live, don't make me live without it. You wouldn't like me if I had to live without it. Oh, ooh, ooh, Money's talking, breathing loud in my ear. It's telling me all kinds of things it knows I like to hear. Talk, talk, talk about money. I wanna grab it, I wanna keep it, I wanna spend it, I wanna have it all around me, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, everywhere I go. I wanna see it shine, don't wanna lose it, don't wanna share it. I'm not a charity, I won't give it away. It gives me dignity, these shoes on my feet, and a restaurant seat. I can't live without. I wanna grab it, I wanna keep it, I wanna spend it, I wanna have it all around me, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, everywhere I go. I wanna see it shine, don't wanna lose it, don't wanna share it. I'm not a charity, I won't give it away. It gives me dignity, these shoes on my feet, and a restaurant seat. I can't live without it. Talk, talk, talk about money. 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 Talk, talk, talk.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Well, Sally, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for chatting to today. Thanks for playing all these songs, and best of luck with all the projects. I'll make sure we post all the info afterwards where people can find out more about you. And well, hopefully we might see you in this neck of the woods if you're coming to the frozen north.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to play and to have a chat. I thought you were going to play more songs, so I was looking forward to that. But anyway, I can I can watch you on your
Right.
your
Thank
channel.
you. Thank you. Okay, then. Well, look after yourself. Keep in touch, and see you soon. Hopefully.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Great. That was lovely. Fabulous voice. Oh, sorry, I should have read it. There's a message for you there from Tracy Ellis. Sounding beautiful as always, Sally. Can't wait to see you live again in May. There you go. So yeah, that's it from us for this week. And there will not be talking songs next week, so we're going to be doing it every fortnight from now on, as things are starting to get busy on the gigging front for my guests and myself, luckily. So see you in 2 weeks, and in the meantime, look after yourselves, and what can I say? Keep healthy. So I'm going to sign you out with a little bit of self-promotion here of my of the single off my new album. Enjoy, please.
I've been thinking about where I've been, the places I've visited, the things I've seen, made decisions by people I've met. Some were good ones, and some I regret. Don't know the future, can't change the past, that's how it is.